expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we do encourage you to like and share them on social media and with all of your friends and neighbors because it's time for the science of caring. CareBag Incorporated now presents Careology with your host, Roxy Brown.
Hi, Cliff. How are you doing? I missed you.
You missed me?
Yes, I did.
Wow, you were far away.
I was a little bit far away. Not too far, just a little far. And how have you been doing?
Well, yeah, I've been getting on by. Had to take care of some. Well, see, last year it was me running to the doctor all the time.
Uh-huh.
This year it's Karen. She gets to run to the
It's
doctor.
the wifey.
So I get to bring her around all over the place.
Well, that's good. That's a good husband. We have to talk about that on our next show.
Ah.
Being a good husband, Pastor Haynes.
Husband,
Well,
we-
everyone, welcome to Careology. I missed all of you guys, and I am so glad to be back. I had a little hiatus, which was great. And I want to thank Milo and I want to thank Bishop Rivers for sitting in for me, for my co-hosts. They did a fabulous job. And tonight is our second week of being grateful, gratitude and grateful. And I am just grateful to be here. And I am, aren't you, Pastor Haynes?
I am grateful to be
Yeah,
here.
it's just so much. We have a lot going on. It's I can't believe it's February already. So we're in the second month of the year, and this is Black History Month. And I will be focusing that on the next 2 weeks.
It's also the month of my birthday,
That's when is your
Yeah.
birthday?
21st.
Oh, well, we
Ooh.
have Mr. Woods with Lexus. His birthday is Friday.
Okay.
Prince Blue's birthday is Saturday.
They're actually celebrating my birthday throughout this nation.
Throughout the
Throughout the
nation.
nation.
All right. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Trishana Brown. Her birthday is on Sunday. And then we have Pastor Haynes' birthday. So anybody who's born in February, we're going to just do one big wish you a happy birthday. And we hope you have many, many more blessings.
Well, there's less of us than for every other month,
You
right?
think because there's one day short.
Yeah.
But you make it up.
That's right. The month ends
That's-
early.
the
this
That's
month
year.
why
ends-
we are so special.
The month ends early, but it's all good. But we are glad to be back. And if you're tuning in with us for the first time, my name is Roxy. I'm the CEO and founder of CareBag Incorporated. Careology is a subsidiary of that. And CareBag is a nonprofit here on the Treasure Coast. And what we do is something very simple. We provide access of proper hygiene to the homeless and families in need. And it's a privilege for us to do that because January 17th, we turned 5 years old and we were very excited about that. We had a really good show in January. We had our main host, our main sponsor on here, Miss Amber Woods, and one of her colleagues at Treasure Coast Lexus. And it was such an honor to have her. So we thank them, the Treasure Coast Toyota, Treasure Coast Lexus, and the Woods family for being a major sponsor and allowing us to continue with this show. So many people have been blessed and have got so much information. So Carol, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, Careology is about giving information and giving resources here in our community. And from Vero to St. Lucie County to Martin County, we just want to give you right information. We've had so many good hosts on the show about suicide prevention, about just Clifford Pastor has to help me. We've just had so many shows. We've had gun safety. We've had just health, diabetes, just any and everything that all the good information you can get. And it comes right here in our community because we have so many good resources here. And we're lucky to be living on the Treasure Coast. I love it here. What about you, Pastor?
I
Haynes?
do. I absolutely do.
How long have you lived here?
31 years.
Wow.
31 years.
I love it. I do
Yeah.
love it here. Coming from New York, coming from, United Kingdom and then back here. I love it. It's something about here that is just really nice. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because they're pit bull friendly. I don't know. But Pastor, for those who can't see, Pastor Haynes has on his CareBag, our original CareBag shirt when we
yeah.
first started at our church. That was the original logo. And that's why we keep the logo all over. So he's representing today.
All right.
So we are really happy with that. And we start with CareBag starts with Family Promise this Sunday. So our shower units will be is already at Family Promise, but they'll be utilized this Sunday. So we're very happy about that. So we're excited. A lot of good things are coming into our 5th year.
You still You still keep those showers down there by the Salvation Army?
No, those showers have been moved to Family Promise in Martin County, and I'm getting ready to move our next shower unit down to Boca because we just had our inspection, which
How
we
many do you
passed.
have?
We have two.
Okay, there are two.
Where
Okay.
we have two, yes.
So you can cover both ends of one county or two counties or whichever way.
As long as it's two.
Yeah, as long as it's two.
Not three, but two. We can carry three by moving it around, but with everything going on with the COVID situation and the virus, we really need to be careful. We need to track and trace very good because we're dealing with people's lives, we're dealing with people's health, and we want to take this seriously. So that's the good thing about this. So
Right.
we're happy about this. So, and for those watching us on Facebook and listening, we thank you very much. And just give us a thumbs up if you're there. I can see one of you, but I know a lot of you are still there, those that I can't see. So we appreciate those listening on social media, Google, TuneIn, Alexa. We really appreciate you sticking with us as we go into our second year. We're going into our second year now.
Now, for some of the folks that are listening in maybe for the first time and they've never heard of Black History Month before, I've been working with Rudy Howard, and for years, when February comes around, he does these features. But Sue Ellen Sanders had a show just the other day, and Al Hare's widow was on the show, and they talked about a movie. I went and looked it up on the Netflix, and I was amazed. I thought I was learning quite a bit about Black History Month, but I didn't know about this. I remember something from the movie. It's called The Best of Enemies.
Okay.
Remember the charrettes? Well, I was in about maybe seventh grade or so during that time. I was here in South Florida. And a lot of the kids were mad. I didn't understand why. But I heard that word charrette, heard that word over and over again. And what I saw in this movie, the guy that they brought in to set up the charrette, that was a genius. The way they got people together, people who didn't want to get together because they naturally hadn't, because of just the way things were at the time. But it was amazing. And let me see if I can remember the woman's name. I think it was Atwood, and she went up against a Ku Klux Klan leader and won. It was over their housing.
Wow.
It was over their housing, and
I can't remember. There is an article that I saw on YouTube, and I cannot remember the doctor's name, but it's so poignant of what she says. She starts off with an audience full of people, and everyone sitting in the audience is Caucasian, white Caucasian. And she says, please raise your hand if you would like to be Black African American. No one.
That's a challenge of the life.
No one raised their hand.
When was this?
And it was on YouTube. I'm going to look it up while I'm here.
Okay, all right.
And she said something very important. She said, the reason you have not raised your hand as a white person is because you know that Black people have been treated misfairly. Black History Month completed in one sentence.
Yeah.
That's it. If you can't raise your hand to want to be sitting in my shoe and in my skin, then you know that I, Roxy, have been treated unfairly. And that's basically what it is. That's what it is.
Walking somebody else's shoes.
Walking someone else's shoes. There's a lot of people talk about there's no racist, there's no this, there's no that. But would you like to be in my shoe for the day? Now, my day today was very good. I was inducted into Kiwanis Club of Stewart, and I had a very nice time.
Congratulations.
Yes, I'm now a new member of Kiwanis Club in Stewart, and I was very well welcomed. And I felt it was very nice. And you walk there and people, hello, you can walk into a room and know, Pastor, Cliff might not know. Cliff won't know this. But when we walk into a room, we know exactly how we are treated and how we are thought of as we walk into a room.
Oh, that's easy. Body language.
It's it's more than that. It's more than body language. It's someone looking at you. Do you belong here? Yes, I do belong here.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, because yes, I belong here. I got a car, I got gas, and I can get here. Yes, I do. See, because I can be rude about this.
Well, yeah.
You can. And our culture, which everything over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years has made it impossible. People are just angry. People are ignorant about what's going on. So when I saw that and I watch it, I can't believe, I'm going to look it up. I can't remember her name, but every time I watch it, I love it. I love what she says. Raise your hand. She was talking to just an audience of white people. She said, raise your hand if you want to be a Black person.
Well, having known anything about the American history for Black people, I wouldn't want to. Now, on the other hand, as far as a sports physical
No, we're not talking.
situation
We're not.
goes.
Listen, it goes hand in hand. You
I
can't
know,
pick and choose,
I
Cliff.
know it's still it's the same question.
Yeah,
In that area, I wouldn't mind being in a little bit better shape naturally.
yeah.
You know,
You can be in better shape as a white man too.
well, yeah, but it's too late now. I'm having parts replaced.
Well, I know you have hips and parts replaced.
So you were telling us about the Kiwanis Club.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
I got it. I'm now a member of the Kiwanis Club in Stewart, and it's every Tuesday. And it's so funny because I've been promoting their pancakes. Their pancakes in the park with Dr. Seuss. But they have a nice park. They do a lot in the community, and they welcome in other nonprofits. It's just not them. They welcome in other nonprofits. They have other people coming in and talking about what they're doing, which is good. And it's a progressive. It is a progressive. I'm not going to say I am the first Black member, but I think I am. I have to look in their history because so far it's only me, but that's all right. I'm the only Roxy they need, Pastor Haynes.
That's right. Well, they opened the door for you.
Yeah,
and that's important.
And it's good to see individuals that are doing someone for the community because they're helping everyone. They're not just helping me, they're helping a lot of many different diversities where they're reading in the park because so many children are being impacted by that from different diversities, different backgrounds. It doesn't matter. Cliff is dying to say something. Go ahead, Cliff.
Onward to the American Legion. Onward to the other, well, not necessarily the VFW unless you were in the military.
No, I wasn't in the military.
Lions clubs.
Let's work one day. Let's work one at a time.
She's eventually going to get in there.
She'll be like a co-CEO to them.
She'll be everywhere. She'll be everywhere.
Well, we're gonna work, but Cher Fisher. I've worked with her on different things and she's just lovely and she asked me to join. So it was good. It was a good meeting there every Tuesday. And if, someone's interested, come talk to us, talk to me and let me see if you'll be a good fit because you got to be a right fit.
Pastor Haynes, do you see a future piece of history amongst us right now?
Oh, I've already made history.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's a whole nother show.
I think there's more to come.
There certainly is. She's broken lots of barriers right here on the Treasure Coast.
We've broken a lot and we'll do more. It just has to be an open mind. And what people have to understand, it's about thinking, it's about treating everyone as this is what I do. I treat someone how I want someone to treat me. That's what I do. When someone knocks on our door and says, I need help, I say, my goodness, what about if I was in their shoes needing something? How do I want someone to be treated? Right. So when someone signs up for CareBag, their dignity is not taken away from them. We make sure everything is done electronically. We whisper, we don't yell at you. We don't demand certain things. If you are in need of, let's just say if you're in need of something so simple of Pampers for your baby, what does a rent receipt or a letter from your landlord have to do with you having clean nappies for your baby?
Yeah, right.
I want someone to explain that to me. That should come first and the other questions should come later. When you show someone you have a little dignity for them, they will let you do anything. You can tell them anything. They'll listen to you. They'll want to focus on other things to make themselves better. I have ladies used to come into our facility and they'll be half naked. I'll be like, thank goodness I have no man working here. They'll come in just any and anything. And I say, listen, could you come looking like a young lady? And they'll give me a look. And I'll say, listen, I said, not everybody has to see what you got on. We're not in the beach. My office is not on the beach, And then a couple of weeks later, Pastor, you'll see them come in. And then when they come in, they have pride. They have pride the way they look. They're looking like a young lady and they feel good about themselves. And that's what we want for our young ladies. When they see you're invested in them, when they see you have dignity towards them and you want them to do better, you can teach them to do 1,000,001 different things, So even though we celebrate the shortest month out of 12 calendar years for Black History Month, I want to be talking about Black History Month for the rest of this year because there's a lot of things people don't know. Because I went digging in history because I know a lot, but I don't know everything. And I was amazed at the amount of things we have invented. But because we did not have the money or the resources to get the patents that we needed
and the rights,
other people took our invention
absolutely
and made it their own. So we're going to be talking about that.
There's a whole lot of
There's a whole lot. Some of y'all going to get mad at me, and you can call in if you want to.
Okay.
I am not that nice as Rudy.
Uh-oh.
I'm just going to let you know. Pastor, tell him. I'm
Don't
still
wake
working.
up the mama
I
bear.
got my pastor here. He
Yeah,
can vouch for me. I am a work in progress.
You're nice enough to be helping people who need help. So
there we go. But
yeah.
if you push the wrong button.
Pastor's willing to assist with counseling anyone who crosses the mama bear.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, but it's just amazing. And I sat there and I was in awe, and my heart kind of ached a little bit.
Okay.
My heart ached a little bit to know that, so many people, it's like, for instance, it's like truckers. A lot of people don't like truckers on the road. They can't stand the big trucks, but you love going to the grocery store.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Without truckers, the world can't move. You can't buy anything in the grocery store.
Without microchips, you can't go buy a new car.
You can't do that. A lot of people in different states are threatening nurses and are threatening police and killing police. When something's wrong, you dial 911. When you get sick, you go to the hospital. The respect of all of us on every level is just so twisted. Yeah. That's the only word I can have for it right now, Pastor. It's so twisted.
Yeah, we've moved away from decency for a while.
We have moved away from decency.
And it's unfortunate, yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. But we're going to talk about another decency that we have to talk about because it affects how our generations move into the next generation. And we're going to talk about raising children.
All right.
And it's important that we do that because how you raise children are not born to hate. Right. So let's get that out the way right now. I have watched a documentary and I see these little babies in these Ku Klux Klan outfits that they make for the little babies. They can hardly walk. You have taught that child to hate. That child, no one is born into hate. No one is born hating. It is an acquired, it's not even a required trait. It is an acquired taught. You have to teach them. Yeah. You have to teach them. They have to see it for them to know. Someone's trying to get me, but that's okay.
Oh, I thought you were taking pictures of me. I saw the
No, it's just the flash. When someone knows I'm on Careology from 6:05 to 7, but they choose to text me.
But that's all right.
All right.
Rather than text and call, unless they want to call the radio station at 772-340-1590, we can do that.
But it's that's what we're going to talk. We're going to talk about raising children, and the best person I think to talk about that, Cliff, is Pastor Haynes.
Well, of course.
He has 4 children.
And that qualifies me?
That more than and the reason why I'm going to say it qualifies him, I know 3 of his children very well. The other one I've met on and off, but I see what they do. I see how they live. And when you talk to a woman or a man that has raised good children, now you can have a conversation with them. And that is why I have chose Pastor Haynes. And we're going to hear what he has to say about raising children and grandchildren, because he's a grandpa many times over.
Correct. Yeah.
Many
7 times.
7 times over. I'm only 2.
Oh,
I'm catching up.
Okay. I'll wait for you.
You'll wait. So we're going to talk to him right when we come back after this important message from our sponsor. Please stay tuned for Careology.
I do remember when I was much younger and had a couple of little kids. All my friends who didn't have any kids, they had the most advice for me, of course.
Of course.
None of them had any kids, but they
had the advice.
Now we've got a man with advice coming up. He's going to tell us something, so stay tuned.
There you go. If you could reimagine the way you buy a car, what would you do? Make it simple, make negotiations disappear, demand transparency, then experience amazing at your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer. Car buying simplified. Treasure Coast Lexus is a proud sponsor of Careology. Every Tuesday at 6:05 p.m., caring and supporting for our community. Car buying simplified. Check out your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer. Thinking of building your next home or renovating? Come see us at Grozer Builders. We will create a home suited for your lifestyle. With years of experience means we give you a complete professional service from a dream to a concept. You will get the best results, best value, best quality is what you get from Grozer Builders. Visit us at grozerbuilders.com. You deserve better. You deserve Grozer.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Now back to the science of caring, Careology. And once again, here's your host, Roxy.
Good evening and welcome back to all of you. And I hope you're having a safe journey home, not a lot of traffic, and the weather's good. And thank you for tuning back into Careology with myself, Cliff, and Pastor Haynes. And this evening, we are talking about raising children in these unpredicament times. I don't know how many, I don't know. That's the best way I could do it. It sounds doom and gloom, but that's the only way I can think about it.
Yeah. Well, I think I'd like to say that, first of all, I believe there are lots of good people out there trying to do the very best they can with the children at this time. I just think it's just too many aren't taking the time to do what needs to be done. And I think we can see that. It's not a new thing. It's just been building for a while. And then we get to the place where I think, a lot of people just need to take the time to raise the children and not let the children raise them.
Correct.
Yeah.
That I remember growing up when my mom used to just talk to you one time, but when my dad used to look at me, that's all it took.
It was always
that's all it took. It took my dad to look at me one time, give me that side eye look, and I knew if I got the look again, I was doomed. I was doomed, and I was in trouble. And you don't get that anymore. You can't. It's like you can't raise your children. You can't discipline them anymore. And I think that's what's missing. When a child knows that they can't be disciplined, if I knew back in the day, Pastor Haynes, that I could not get a beating, ooh.
Yeah. Well, discipline is always a very important thing, because children has to be taught. And discipline does not necessarily mean you have to beat a child, but it means you have to teach the child what is right from wrong. And teaching right from wrong sometimes can be, you have to be firm. You have to be loving, but firm. And I think that's sometimes that's what's missing. I walk into the supermarket sometimes and I see children do stuff to their parents, and the blood inside of me
just
boils.
Rises up.
And I'm thinking, how dare you?
I know.
How could you do such a thing?
I want some ice cream now.
Or they roll on the floor and they stomp, or they hit them.
And they would hit them.
Or they slap them.
They slap them, they hit them, they scream and yell. And
I am 30 plus.
Thinking, how did you let that get to this place?
To this point, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, and because you said that, as soon as you said that, my mind clicked over. When authorities make stops of individuals, because they haven't been disciplined on authority, when an authority stops them for something that they might have had a right to stop them for, they don't know how to act.
And
that leads into so much
that leads into a lot of problems.
So much problems that we've had, justified or unjustified. It leads into it because they've never been disciplined on how to act. You have to know how to talk to someone.
Absolutely.
And you have to know how to talk to an adult. So when you said that, that just started to click in my head. So I just couldn't, as old as I am now, 30 plus, I wouldn't dare think of speaking to anyone.
When my kids were in school, I would say to them, if you can't listen to your teacher in school, you're not going to listen to the policeman when he stops you.
That's true.
And he's asking you questions. And if you can't, so you have to obey. And obedience is an important element in growing. And lots of children just don't obey because the parents don't insist on them obeying. And
because they don't obey either. They don't follow. They don't think they have to. That's it.
They don't get a sense of consequence if we don't help straighten them out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's it.
That sense of consequence. Then they grow up and mom can't bail you out anymore when you're not a juvenile anymore.
Yeah.
And I saw that happen with a young man that, he kind of took a liking to my oldest daughter years ago, who, by the way, can't lie to me today because all I got to do is look at her while she's talking to me, and she starts blinking that one eye.
Yeah.
That's the dead giveaway.
That's a dead giveaway for you.
Oh, yeah. And it was a nervous habit. And all of her sisters do it too.
Yeah. It's just, you're right about that. No one knows the consequences of your actions. And because you don't have consequences of your actions, I think you can, people think you can just do that. That's how children grow up. So what are some things parents can do, Pastor Haynes?
Well, I think parents need to establish boundaries
Mhm.
from very early.
Yes.
From very early. Do not wait until the child is 2 years old to start, because the child starts running around and trying to discover whatever they can.
And they do.
To start, they do. It's just natural. That's what all children do. But you need to establish those boundaries early
Mhm.
enough. So when they
Yes.
begin to discover things and to search out things and to find out things, they know where the boundaries are.
Mhm.
And I think we see grown adults who do not understand boundaries. They
Yes.
don't know. They don't know that, when you see the light is red, you stop.
Mm.
That's a boundary. Even though
Yes.
your car can go, if you want it to go, you should stop. And I see it all the time. I was just coming up here this afternoon, and this guy, it's just fortunate that the person ahead of me didn't cross the traffic light. He had a definitely red light, and we had the green, and
And
he just went shoo,
Oh, yeah.
Probably wasn't paying
right across.
attention.
Well, it's the whole idea about boundaries, and
Mhm.
children need to learn boundaries from very small.
Yes.
They need to know this is, you can go up to here, and then you stop right there.
And there are consequences.
Yes.
Consequences. I don't know what we had a psychologist here, and what we were talking about, so many grandparents nowadays are raising their grandchildren.
Yeah.
And raising a grandchild is much different from raising a child.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think the love of a grandchild is just so different. It's just
I hear it all the time from my children.
I see
Dad,
I see it.
Dad, you didn't let us do this.
We get even with our kids.
Yeah.
We spoil our grandchildren.
Absolutely. And I tell them that's what our job is
That's
as
what-
grandparents. We
So with a
spoil
lot
them.
of grandparents now, but I'm glad you said that, with a lot of grandparents now in the role of raising their child,
Mhm.
they let the child get away with so much.
Right.
And it's a different genre, a different time. So what they were accustomed back then, they don't have now. The phones, the computers, all of that is so different from what they used to do back then. It's just so much difficult for them to do now. And then the mothers and fathers are getting younger. So you have babies
Mhm.
raising babies.
Right.
So, and these children don't even know how to be raised themselves. And now they're trying to raise children.
And parents need to model
Mm-hmm.
the right behaviors for their children,
Yes.
because we know the old poem. You probably know it too. Children live what they learn.
Oh, yes.
And
They parrot what they hear. They repeat
Yes.
what they hear.
right, absolutely, yeah. And so we think sometimes that if we just tell them things, but we can behave any way we want to, and that's not going to work, because children learn more from observing
Mm-hmm.
than they do from being told.
Yes.
And so when parents live a certain type, a
Mhm.
certain lifestyle, but they want to tell their children not to do this, it does not work.
No.
It's like, do what I say,
And
not what I do.
And children watch everything.
Yeah.
We see everything. So what can, as a society, and as from a pastor, man of God, a father to 4 children, successful children. I know
Thank
you're
you.
very proud of that, very successful and beautiful grandchildren, know them personally. What would you tell a young mother growing up a child and wants that to do better, but just doesn't know what to do?
One of the things I think that's really important, especially in where we are in our society today,
Mhm.
with everything that's going on, crime is at an all-time high, suicide's an all-time high, divorce is at an all-time high. I mean, it's like the whole society is falling apart. Hate crimes and all
Yes.
these different things are happening. I think their emotional intelligence is
Mhm.
important. Kids need to be taught empathy.
Yes.
We talked about putting yourself in my shoes,
Mhm.
knowing how to, thinking about how someone else feels when something is done to them.
Correct.
And children need to learn that. They need to learn, just because you have and someone else doesn't have, that doesn't make that person less than who you are.
Mhm.
And So I think that emotional intelligence, that need to be empathetic to other people, we are never all going to be at the same level,
Right.
economically, socially, educationally, whatever,
Mhm.
academically. We will not always all be on that same level. So some are going to be a little higher, on the
Right.
scale, and some a little lower. We just need to learn to understand that this is real life, and that real life, there's no other person like you on the planet, but you have to learn to get along with others and to be empathetic with them, whatever their situation is. And I think that needs to start at home. But just like you say, if we begin to teach our children to hate, and we begin to teach them to dislike, and we begin to teach them to talk bad about others,
That's where we get these
that's why
high school
we are
shootings.
where we are
Yep.
today.
Mhm.
That's
Yes.
why we are where we are. Road rage is off.
It's off the
And,
chart, but
it's just
and
ridiculous.
and a lot of
what's
these
going
people
on.
can't drive. They shouldn't have their license, Pastor Haynes.
Yeah, but
the
yeah,
road rage, it
yeah.
just makes it difficult.
Yeah, recently there's been so many shootings at
Mhm.
fast food
Yes.
places. People shoot for a pack of ketchup.
Oh,
The order took too long, 30 seconds too long.
and they just lose it.
And they just lose it. It's like we're in a terrible place, and
No.
parents need to begin to understand that this didn't just happen all of
No.
a sudden. This is something these kids are growing up with. Now they become older, they can buy a gun, they can handle a gun, but that hate,
It's still there.
is still there.
It hasn't. It's matured.
Right.
It's matured into another level of hate. And not only that, I was talking to someone over last week, and we were just talking, and she was saying, "Oh my goodness, Roxy, I'm so busy." And I said, "Well, what, when your son is busy, what do you do?" She says, "Oh, I just put him on his games."
Exactly.
And I was like, so that's the game. She said, "I'm sorry to say it." And she said, "As a mom, I know it sounds bad, but," she says, "when I'm busy and I need him to be preoccupied, I just tell him, go play a game." Well, I said, "What kind of game is he playing?" I knew I was having the show. So I really wanted to get some feedback from different mothers that I talked to. And she said, "I know I'm a bad parent. I just have him go play a game." Well, I said, "What game is he playing?" "Oh, I don't know. By the time I get there, he's probably fast asleep." And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what about if he's playing a game he shouldn't be playing, or playing with someone he hasn't been playing? A lot of parents have turned over the responsibility of babysitting to the TV,
to the computer,
to games.
to the games.
Yes, Cliff.
The cell phone would make a whole show in itself.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
The way the kids are with it.
Yeah.
They know more about what's on YouTube than I do.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, they do. And not everything, every advancement that we have had is always good, but there is also bad with the advancement that we've had. When cocaine came around, it was for doctors with patients with acute pain. And then one day somebody decided they wanted to use it on themselves. Guns were for lawmen. Everything that was made for a positive, but it got turned into a negative. Anything you see, this broadcast we're on, someone could take it and use it for something else, for the, just not for the betterment of mankind. So, but I think it's for parents to realize, when we had needed something to do, we had to go read a book.
Mhm.
You don't have book, you don't have extra homework. Are you good on this? Maybe you need to study that more. No, just go to your room, play a game. So you're making others raise your child. Then when something happens,
Those kids are bad.
I know my kids, my kids grew up in a different time. It's not
Mhm.
the same as now.
Yes.
They're
so did I.
the youngest is
Mhm.
31 years old.
You just put
but-
her out there. You just put him out there. Didn't you?
yeah. Well, what I'm trying to say is, when they were growing up at home,
Yeah.
we didn't put a TV in their rooms.
Yeah.
in
Neither. I
room.
didn't have one either.
We didn't put a game console in their
No
rooms.
Atari. We had
Everything-
Atari back then.
Everything was right there
Yeah.
in the family room.
Mhm.
Where you want to play your game, you play over here. You
Mhm.
want to watch TV, you watch
gotta
over
see
here.
it. Yeah.
When you go to your bedroom, the only thing there is beside your bed is a bookcase.
Mhm.
If you're not ready to sleep,
Read a book.
you read a book.
Yeah.
Read a book until you go to sleep. There were no games, no TVs, nothing in there.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing in our house. When I tell someone I grew up with Walter Cronkite, Walter who?
Walter.
That's who I grew up with. National Geographic. We
William
had the
Brinkley
big,
Report.
we had the big encyclopedias, the tan. I don't know what color yours was, Pastor. In my parents' house, ours was tan with the gold.
I had
Britannia.
I had the
The Britannia with the gold and the brown.
That's amazing today. A whole set of encyclopedias can fit on a little tiny
On a little
USB
and we had to
stick, man.
start from A
Yeah.
all the way to, and there was a book after Z to explain everything you read.
Correct. Yes.
And we had, and for my lifetime, I don't know how many times I went through A all the way to the other, because when they asked you a question,
it's
you
the
ask
only way
mom a
you'll find
question.
out. Yeah.
Some people say Google. Now they say Google it. When you ask the question, go look in the encyclopedia.
They don't
But
even
you know,
Google anymore. They ask Siri.
They ask Siri. So not only did we look in the encyclopedia, we learned what the alphabet was. We learned how to read. We learned how to comprehend. Now everything is just telling you. So you have not children can't comprehend anything. You tell them something and they cannot comprehend it.
They know the answer without knowing how to get there.
And they don't even know the answer. If you ask them the answer, they can't even tell you it good. Because there's no theory in it. There's no thinking. Your brain doesn't think anymore.
But I have to say this, that if even in the classroom, I could tell that we had those problems, but we did have a number of kids.
So you just said in the classroom, some people are like, now I'm lost. Tell them what classroom.
Because I taught in the.
He's a retired teacher.
I'm a retired teacher.
Yeah. This is Cliff. Oh.
and you can tell that there were a sizable amount of kids who were being raised properly.
Yes.
And they would come in, they would be the hardworking ones, and they would I would stand at the door of my classroom and I'd greet these kids as they walk in, and some of them would look at you as you say good morning to them. They look at you as if,
what's good about it?
You say good morning and they say, don't tell me what to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
But then, okay,
but then you would have those who'd walk in and would say, good morning, Mr. Haynes. And
what's good about now I'm going to come out from the CareBag aspect. What's good about it if you haven't had breakfast?
Yeah, I know.
If you haven't had a shower, nothing is good about it. You can't do your homework because you didn't have food to eat.
Right.
And imagine being homeless and having to deal with all this.
Yes. So, but go right ahead. Pastor.
I've had kids who walk I wouldn't even go there.
That's another show. Right?
That's another show.
Okay.
Yeah. But the social emotional intelligence is important. To empathize with others, and also to have those social skills, to be able to say please and thank you and good morning and call people by their names.
Yeah.
If you know their names, and if you don't, you can say Mr. or Miss or Sir or or ma'am or that kind of stuff. We've lost that a lot.
That's gone.
It's unfortunate that so many of our children are growing up without that kind of discipline. Those social skills just aren't there.
Yeah. And it starts from young. It starts from young. I was with a little baby yesterday, and she's just 2, and I handed her something, and the first thing before mom and dad could say anything, thank you. And when I heard that, your heart kind of melts, because you see the time and the care and the effort. That means she's hearing thank you. That means she's appreciative and she's starting to learn. So now when she goes into school, she's going to those traits. It's a lesson, but the point is what you teach them as they're younger, it goes with them. And it makes you look good. I don't think parents realize how good they look when their child receives something in public and they know how to answer correctly. That you give so much kudos to that mother, to that father, because as an adult, you see that child being raised properly, and it makes a difference. They had a saying, I can't remember, it was something about manners will open every door, something like that. They used to say a polite child or manners will open every door more than good looks, something like that. But it's true. A child with manners will go so far.
Yeah, you find a child with manners, it kind of stuns you a little bit, like,
yeah,
whoa.
Yeah, and it sounds good. You don't hear it because adults don't do it. You give someone something and they just And you have to go, thank you.
Maybe some of these children will end up being leaders to some of us older folks.
Oh, I hope so. We need something. That's
Well, well, thankfully, I think we do still have enough who will be good leaders
Yes.
and be good in the society. My thing here is it's just that there are just too many that are not, and a lot of it, most of it begins at the home.
At home.
Begins at home. The discipline factor is another one. Parents must be consistent with discipline. You don't discipline a child now when they do something wrong and then do it in the next 20 times after the child has done 20 times more wrong things and do it again.
Or you don't start disciplining a child at age 10 when for 9 years you've let them do whatever they
you
have
haven't
to
done
do.
anything.
That'd be a big shock.
Yeah.
They're used to doing whatever.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. They get to the point where now they have common sense. They can think and talk for themselves even before that, and they're coming into their own. So now they want to do what their friends are doing, and you've decided, no, I want to discipline.
And
it's not going to work.
And sometimes the discipline comes only when the parent is frustrated.
Frustrated, yeah.
And that's not the time to discipline your child, because that's when you lose it.
Oh, yeah.
And then you do some things that you wish you had not done only after you've done it.
So true.
So if you do it incrementally, you do it when it happens, you do it lovingly, firmly, and the child understands that this is what you're all about. It's a whole lot better than wait until they do something. And I've seen parents who the children did terrible things, they did nothing, said nothing, and then sometimes the child does a little something, but it gets to the point where you are so frustrated, you lose it. And we should never allow ourselves to get there. And that's where sometimes the physical abuse comes in, and and make decisions that you wish afterward that you hadn't made.
So some parents, they explain to their kids that they spank them because they love them and they don't want them to make poor choices in life. And when you do something deliberately bad, you get punished out there in the real world when you're all grown up. Only you don't get spanked, you get put in jail.
Yeah. My mom used to run that on me. I'm spanking you because I love you.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't sound good or feel good
at the time.
Didn't make sense at the time. No, sir, it did not.
But scripture says in the Proverbs, and I have to.
Of course, you have to.
It's my duty to do it at least once. A child left to himself will bring the parents to shame.
Yeah.
And we've seen this happen a lot of times.
And that's why children are born to have parents so they can be directed and nurtured.
And children do not come with an instruction manual. You have to learn to do it and to do it right and to try your very best. Now, there are some who just do not know what to do. And you mentioned that earlier. Some people, they didn't have the training themselves. And now they are having children and you just don't know how to do. So their hands are full.
And then they start treating the child as their best friend instead of a child,
which is what's going on.
And that's a lot that I'm seeing. A lot that I'm seeing. A lot of parents, male and female, are buddying up to their child and treating them like a best friend. When that child does something, or you have to talk to that child, the child's not going to listen. You're a friend. You're my companion. You're my equal. There is no equal when it comes to parents.
We all goof off when mom and dad aren't looking. But when they are, we're prim and proper, by golly.
At attention.
So we learn that facade early, but it comes in handy because you're behaving.
Yes.
You're behaving. And then if you get used to it, it becomes easier and easier. So
that's true.
You might as well realize there's always a consequence for things you're not supposed to do.
Always.
That's a given. But then being nice and being friendly will make you eligible to have friends. You have to be friendly to have friends.
That's
to
true.
Make yourself friendly. So
both ways.
We all need to go back to being a kid again. We need to be like children.
Childlike.
I
don't want to be a child again. Childlike, yes, not a child again. No, I would not want to be a child again. I'm gonna pass on that.
It took too long to grow up. I remember that.
Yeah.
I waited too long for this, and now it's all going by faster now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's
straight
flying.
Downhill.
It's flying now.
Downhill.
Straight downhill.
Well, it's a great momentum if you're taking a ride or something, but if you're being taken for a ride, not so much fun as far as the consequences go.
But my goodness, look how the time has gone by already.
We're having
Wow.
fun.
We're having fun. Good
Yeah.
things go by when you're having
I've
fun.
noticed that in radio. It does.
Yeah.
It goes by so fast.
Goes by so fast, so fast.
Years go by fast. You've been with us over a year now.
Over a year. Yeah, 1 year now and 1 year and 1 month.
And you usually in here right after 5, but about 5:30 or so, I started getting nervous. So I looked in the machine to see if we had a spare program just in case. And there was one that was dated February 9th. And I'm thinking, did they record a show? No, that's tomorrow.
No, the
It was February 9th,
21.
2021.
Yeah. Wow. We have, 1 year. 1 year. Well, Pastor, we're coming up to a time. If you had to tell a young mother, a young father something, or a parent that's about to become parents, or individuals that are about to become parents, as a seasoned father and grandfather, what words of wisdom would you like to bestow on them?
Well, I don't know how wise that would be. I just know in my mind, do some research. If you don't know, if you don't have parents, if you have parents whom you can turn to, or others, look at the model parents around you. I'm sure you can find 1 or 2 model parents. Look at their children. Look at how they are in the community. And then you can maybe sit with those people, because the experience of others is going to help you a long way.
Right.
And, get some instruction, or at least advice, their wise counsel on how to do this. I raised 4, and I think I got better as a parent down the road.
Down the road.
Yeah, the first one, he got he got me when I was very inexperienced in the business.
Yeah.
But as the others came along, I think my wife and I became better parents. So if you're going to have a child, or you have a child right now that you're raising for the first time, there's a lot of stuff you need to know. I would say, be kind to your child, be gentle with your child. Just as we said earlier, make sure you set boundaries for your child very early. Do not wait until the child begins to talk or walk for you to set those boundaries. Set them early. Be loving to your child.
Yeah.
It's important that you have that relationship with your child that is where your child knows that if something goes wrong, I can go to mom or dad and don't have a problem with that. So those are very important things. Do not teach your child to hate. And when I say teach, I don't mean you're telling them to hate, but if they hear you say things that are hateful about others, that's what they are going to learn to do. So be very careful what things you say in the hearing of your child. You shouldn't be saying anything wrong, period.
Right.
But if you do have something to say, go hide yourself somewhere and say it. Don't let your child hear it. Exactly. It's really important, because children live what they learn, and they learn by observing, by listening, by, their 5 senses are very much alive when they're little. Even if they can't talk yet and they can't tell you exactly what's going on, but that doesn't mean they're not understanding. They are. So be very careful with that, because it's important to do that.
Well, thank you very much, Pastor Haynes. We appreciate it. And I'm not going to add anything to that, because we have a seasoned veterans here. But I do want to thank you. This was a really good show.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We will not be having Pastor Haynes for the month of March, because March is our Women's Month. So he did not fit the category.
Oh, gee.
What?
Yeah, he didn't fit the category. I'm going to have to get a female engineer, Cliff. I'm sorry.
Oh,
well, that'd be all right. Well, we don't have. Well,
Carol, what do you mean?
She's like the president of the company.
She can do it all.
She did a great job.
She can do whatever she wants.
She wants. But we'll
that's
take
the ability.
it.
That's wonderful.
But Cliff, last time I was here, you weren't here. She did that.
Yeah,
job.
she did it.
Right? Yeah, she can. She has the ability.
Yes, she does. But I looked up something on YouTube. Her name is Miss Gore, and what she asked the question: would white America like to be treated how Black America was treated in this society? I'm going to send you the YouTube link.
Okay.
And no one raised their hand. So that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
question that she asked. So I paraphrased it incorrectly. Would white America like to be treated how Black America is treated in this society?
Knowing what the folks have gone through. all
No
their
one raised their
lives.
hand. And she said, in this society currently now. And it was just, this was 6 years ago, and it has
See,
gone
that's
viral.
that's the shameful thing about it, because I thought, was this from the 60s or something? No,
Just
it's
right
more
now, just
recently.
It's
Yeah.
very
today,
recent, yeah.
2022,
Wow.
February 2022. So that's something we're going to talk about. I'm going to do a show on that,
Yeah.
and it's going to be very interesting. And I'm going to do it that people can call in. That is going to be, we're going to talk about it. I think it's the week after next. So that would be an interesting show. So I hope all
Oh,
of
yes.
you listen in and tune in, and you're free to call and voice what you think may be your opinion, and I will voice mine back. Fair enough,
Ooh.
Pastor?
Don't trouble the mother bear.
There you go. Pastor Haynes got it.
Don't cry to the engineer that the mama bear popped you upside the head. I
Well,
warned you.
Pastor Haynes, thank you so much. This was so interesting. And to all the moms and dads out there that have been listening, if this has done something or opened up your eyes as grandparents, as parents, that's what this show is about, giving and sending information to those who might need it. If you didn't need it, maybe you got information that you can pass on to someone else, or maybe this will be good for you in the future, for our future moms and dads, because the next generation is our future. And we want our children to be safe. We want them to be loved. So, Cliff,
Is there a toddler in your life? Take a good look, because friends, you are looking at the future.
that's
Amen.
it. Any baby you
Amen.
see, that is
Yeah.
the future of our country. That is our future.
Yeah.
So we need to be diligent. We need to love them. We need to care for them. I see babies all day long, kids all day long. And I see them when they're in the mom's womb, to when they come out, to when they grow. And it's just so amazing to see how they grow and how they flourish. And it's amazing. So that's why I'm going to go again. March 5th, Kiwanis Park in Stewart is going to have pancakes in the park. Dr. Seuss. It is just come on out, bring the kids. Someone is going to read a Dr. Seuss book to them, just enrich their minds. And now I'm a member, so I'm going to push it out as much as I can. I was doing that anyway, but I love reading. Reading is fundamental, and I pick a book over a movie any day. So you're not going to hear me arguing about that. So please support your local organizations. If you want to find more information about CareBag, please go to givecarebag.com, and you can find all our information about us. Or if you want any more information that you don't see, our numbers there, that you can go ahead and just give us a call. And I'm going to sign out, Cliff.
Whoa, what an hour.
I know, it was
It's
a
gone.
great hour. It's gone
I'll
already.
be up half the night trying to dream up some hashtags for this one.
Well, I'm glad you're going to be sitting up thinking about a hashtag. But it's good to be back. And thank you to everyone who's been sending me messages. We've been missing you. I am back, and I'm looking forward to our next show. And my name is Roxy. On behalf of me, my Pastor Haynes and Cliff, we wish all of you a great night. Be safe until we talk again next week, Tuesday. Have a good night, guys.
Archives of this show can be found on YouTube. Go to WPSLTV.com and look for Careology, the science of caring. By the way, this is WPSL, Port St. Lucie, WPSL.com, webcaster to the world.